theoretically recording's going.
So
Travis is flashing a cold water snapper foil.
yeah,
Is there a reason?
no,
Or
I just like it.
You just like it? Okay.
Yeah,
That's reasonable. That's fair.
check it out. It's not even warped.
Not bad. Looks okay.
Yeah.
He just like throws it over there. I don't even give no S about this. Alright guys, hello and welcome to this week's Two Trolls and a Brew. We're repeating last week's show of sorts. Episode 124. All new name, all new episode, but hopefully with 100% more volume. So anyway, I'm going to title this show Killer PreRelease with the subtitle 100% more volume. Travis, I don't know if you know what happened, but because of the incident with me basically getting a stream ban from YouTube that I know you and I talked about a lot, but the viewers or the listeners don't know anything about. I made a boo-boo and I streamed something with a third-party ad on YouTube, and they don't take that kind of S over at YouTube. So I'm on an up to 90-day ban for live streaming. And I have the feeling it's going to be all 90 mother trucking days. So anyway, we're doing something a little different. I kind of like this as an idea, as a concept, but we'll have to wait and see how it actually plays out. Because the last episode, the prototype, the trial didn't come out real well. So hopefully this will be okay now. And we'll be able to get a show ripped out of it. If not, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I don't have a lot of other options left at my disposal right now.
Guess we'll just take a 3-month break.
Yeah, that would really suck. That's not what I want at all. But hopefully we can make this happen. So let's jump right in, shall we? Shall we have sexual intercourse with this chicken?
As long as your dog starts barking.
Nope. People wanted to hear it. They were going to hear it all.
Oh, all right. Well, in that case, I also have my windows open, so if you hear a jet fly overhead, that's the Air Force.
That's fair. Why don't you talk for a second? I'm gonna mute my end and see if I can shut my door.
Well, I'm not sure what you want me to talk about since we haven't discussed anything. I will say, however, that my F&M this past week, I did a Legacy event, and I went 3-1 with Legacy Dinosaur Reanimator.
Yeah, that's what you were telling me in the text message. Right.
Yeah, it was pretty sick. Like, we had 14 people show up. 12 of them were playing actual Legacy decks. And 2 people didn't realize that it was a Legacy event, even though it was posted on the Facebook page that they are a part of.
All the places Damn it! Travis just left the call. Let's try just inviting him one more time. See if he comes back. I should probably. I'm gonna turn on. Oh, I can't do that. All right, we're gonna try calling Travis back. This is pretty bad. I don't know why the F this is doing this. Invite people. Travis. So we're just fine last week. I don't understand what the F. Is your phone trying to fall asleep or something?
No, I have it plugged in. It's charging right now.
Okay.
I made sure that there wasn't going to be any updates or anything.
Yeah, I don't know. For whatever reason, it is just not staying live. This is going to irritate me. All right, let me get your face back on the bloody picture. You talk. I'll figure it out.
Are we still recording or whatever?
We are. I did not stop it. It is.
Oh, okay. So what part did I?
To that.
What part did I get?
Explaining that people did not know where.
Get
their stuff on Facebook or whatever.
Yeah, so there's like two people who showed up. One was just really casual. The other one, he was essentially playing the Ramanop Red deck. You know, the one that basically had to have cards banned out of it because it was too good in standard.
Sure.
Uh, he just basically brought that to the Legacy event. He was 2-0 at one point with a standard deck, essentially. I'm like, come on. But no, the people I played, the one game I lost was to Grixis Delver, which is basically the like one of the biggest decks in the format right now. Then I played a Dredge deck, and I knew he was playing Dredge because I saw him playing it before the tournament started. And I sit down, I was like, so whose graveyard deck is gonna hit hardest? And it turns out mine. So I beat him, went and played a burn deck, and got him to scoop on turn 2. The Dredge player, he scooped on turn 2. And then I played the casual person, and I beat them really quick. So technically my record was 3-1, but I'm accounted as 2-1 and a bye. But no, having Gishath on turn 1, like turn 1 or turn 2, nobody can deal with that in mod or Legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
it's weird. Like,
I was gonna say,
go ahead.
I was gonna say the one person who could have something to like fight against it was the Grixis player. And instead of putting Gishath down on turn 1, I just put the Carnage Tyrant down, which Carnage Tyrant is bigger than everything they have. And playing it on turn 1 when most Legacy decks hurt themselves, it kind of just like what did I do? I played my Swamp, 2 Lotus Petals, and then I played a Dark Ritual, and I cast Collective Brutality, discarding the Carnage Tyrant. So I got to look at his hand and do the 2-point life swing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had I got his 1 counter spell out of his hand, and then I cast Exhume, bringing Carnage Tyrant into play. You're like, oh well, let's just go ahead and go on to game 2.
Yeah, sometimes reanimator strategies are real strong. I think I mentioned a few weeks ago I played against Scott, who's got like that reanimator pauper deck. It kind of took me by surprise. But you would think at a Legacy tournament there's enough reanimator type stuff that people should not be that surprised by it.
Well, the reanimator deck is very fringe because it basically relies on Gristlebrand and Emrakul, like essentially being there just immediately. So if you can shut down any of the reanimate targets, it's basically just gonna wait till you kill them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when you told me that you're doing dinosaurs, I was like, yeah. But you at one point you sent me a message saying, did you gain 44 life on turn 2?
Yeah.
And I was like, no.
So yeah, no, I did. So on turn 2, it was turn 1. I played Faith.
Not again! What the hell? I literally do not understand what is going on with Travis. I'm about to just concede. I'm about to throw the thing. I don't know what else to do. Hey, bro, you got your Discord installed still?
What's that?
Do you still have Discord installed?
Yeah.
If it quits out again, turn on your Discord.
Okay.
I think there's
Sounds
a way
fair.
to do. I think there's a way to do a video call in Discord. I'm not 100%.
All right.
I just do not understand what the heck is going on.
So, anyways, like I said, turn 1, I played Faithless Looting, discarding Gishath. Turn 2, I played Exhume, getting Gishath into play, and I attacked him. And then I revealed the top 7 cards of my library, and I put in Galta and 2 Verdant Suns avatars. And since they all enter at the same time, I gained 44 life off of it.
I see. Just because they all see each other.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a thing that can happen.
Yeah, like, my opponent was willing to fight through Gishath because he was playing the Dredge deck.
Right.
Which can get, like, 1,000,000 tokens on, turn 3, which would have been his turn 3. But once he saw me gain 44 life, and now I have 7, 19, 29 power on turn 2, he was just like, nah, let's just go to a different game.
That's fair. I mean, again, once you get to a certain spot, it's, I don't know. One of the things I dislike about Legacy a lot is that it's a overly swingy format.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I did my cool thing. Can you stop me? No. Well, then I win the game. Or,
Yeah.
oh, I did my, like, you did your cool thing. Now I'm going to kill you, even though you did your cool thing. Like,
Right. Well, I mean,
and those kind of things are not things that I'm a big fan of.
Like, most of people play, how do I put it? They play solid decks, I guess. The ones that have, linear strategies. But that's not who I am as a player. I like to play the glass cannons.
Right.
And, that's what I do. It's like, oh, okay, I found this glass cannon deck. All right, now I'm going to take out all the good things that they normally have in it and just put in stupid-ass dinosaurs.
Yeah, like, I'm a big fan of the mono black land destruction, hand destruction type stuff in Legacy.
Pox.
Playing, like, just really bad, like, pump knights and, running
don't.
him to Turox. Oh, no, those are my win condition. I attack you for 2 a lot.
Yeah, well, you can do that with the lands, too.
Yeah.
So you just play Mishra's Factories and Mutavaults.
I'm trying to think when's the last time I actually touched the deck for anything other than, like, flipping through it. Like, the last tournament I think it played in was 11 years ago.
Oh, okay.
So, there may be some slight changes to my strategy, but those are still, like, the core of the deck is 4 hymns, 4, sinkholes, that kind of stuff. And,
right.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't even know if that's what I want to do anymore, considering I have basically the red-blue Delver deck basically sitting behind me. But, again, nobody around here can play Legacy because nobody around here besides, like, Sean and I really have Legacy cards.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, unless Hunter sold them all, he still has Legacy stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyhow, before I get into my week, I want to go ahead and plug this not Two Trolls in a Brew, this arena tournament. It's coming up May 5th and 6th. Double PPTQ weekend, one at Goblin Games, one at the arena, and it's going to be a blast. We had a huge pre-release, like as a dry run, on testing a couple of things, so it should go extra smooth. If you want to come out for standard and have a pretty sweet weekend. So, my draft. We did that picker pack thing that we do sometimes. And the guy in front of me, Scott, he's like, give me 1 Masters 25, 1 Iconic, and a pack of Dragons. And he grabbed that stuff and he left. I'm like, hey, just give me the same thing Scott got. Except they didn't have a God damn it! Alright. Well, forget that. I don't know what we're gonna do then. You guys don't need to see the back end. Just turn off the Hangout window. We'll start Discord. I don't understand. I do not understand what is going on. Alright, so I'm just gonna be quiet for a second so I can delete. Let's see if he remembers to turn on his Discord app. I'm gonna freaking change the title of this show to Nothing Wants to Work Ever. Are you there, Travis?
Yes.
Nice. Alright, well, whatever. It looks...
Can you see me?
I can see you. What would you like me to show you? Would you like my screen share, or would you like something else to be able to look back? Are you fine?
I'll just look at myself.
Alright, you're the prettiest.
Yeah, I agree.
So anyway, Masters...
So I got cut off at... give me the same stuff Scott got.
Yes. I guess this is also going to go through this and not that. So I got the 25, the iconic, and they were out of dragons, so I got the Zendikar. I forget which one, but the one that has my favorite card of all time. Basically, that was in that standard, the Goblin Dark Dwellers. So that was my pack one pick, was Goblin Dark Dwellers. And then they passed me a Wander in Death, because again, pick your packets in whatever order the people want to do it in. So I'm like, I have a combo. I'm going to be this guy.
What's Wander in Death?
That is the cycling for 2, return 2 target creatures from your graveyard to your hand. So then I just took things like Shock. I ended up with a Blade Wing, the Risen. At some point, I picked up a foil Diabolic Edict. I think that was pack 3, maybe. And then I got past a Browbeat. I'm like, deal. I can do this. Because you know what goes good with Goblin Dark Dwellers? Browbeat. And then somewhere along the ways, I picked up an Ancestral Statue. That is the 3/4 from Dragons. That when it enters the battlefield, return a non-land permanent you control to its owner's hand.
Okay.
So I was like, well, if I'm going to start doing this stuff to get extra value out of Dark Dwellers, I should be able to play it more. So then I moved into blue, picking up a Mana War, an Angler Drake, Unsummons, a second Unsummons in Retraction Helix. Scott got really upset when he passed the Skullumbar's command. That basically went past the... I don't remember what the guy was playing in retrospect, but I picked up a Solumgar's command, so there's another bounce spell. I picked up a Jarhira, Master Polymorphist, so I could turn my junk characters and start looking for Goblin Dark Dwellers. And the piece of resistance, Jin Cractilis Core Augur. You know what this thing is?
No, because I'm pretty sure you...
I'm said it all wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, this is a 10 mana, blue, and 8 for a 5/4 flash creature. At the beginning of your end step, you draw 7 cards. Each opponent's maximum hand size is reduced by 7.
Yeah.
So my only loss on the night was me milling myself out with this thing. Because I kept thinking it was a enter the battlefield trigger. But no, it's an end of turn trigger. So I had an opportunity to polymorph it to death. And I didn't. I instead polymorphed another creature because, again, I forgot what was going on. And I only had 6 cards left in my library and killed myself. But the reason why Browbeat is my troll card this week, obviously, is because of the Goblin Dark Dwellers. But I, thanks to a flood of recollection, I was able to cast Browbeat 3 times in a single game off of 1 copy of Browbeat. So, like, I Browbeat, I recollectioned it back, I Browbeat again from my hand, and then I played Goblin Dark Dwellers, recycling Browbeat. And that was against Scott, who, in that game, took 10 from Browbeat and let me draw 3 cards. Other games for the night, I... other Browbeats cast throughout the evening probably netted me... Oh, what did I figure? I figure I casted at least twice every single game. And most of the time it was for draw 3 cards. Not always, but most of the time. And it eventually got to the point that people would just tell me to draw my effing cards and they would, like, look down. It was great. It was exactly what I wanted out of it. Scott ended up getting a pack of Masters 25 as his in his winnings, because I was his only loss of the night. And he gave me a foil Browbeat that was out of that pack as like a extra bonus prize. So if anyone would like this Bad Beats foil Browbeat, let me know. We'll see if we can't work it out, because it is pretty sweet to have a story like that for a Browbeat. So anyway, that was a glorious victory to run into the longest weekend of all time, aka pre-release weekend.
That was so long.
It was crazy. So starting at midnight, but first of all, we ran out of kits. Yeah. It's like Wizards suddenly printed a set that people were interested in.
Yeah.
So we ran out of kits, and Sunday had to turn into a booster draft instead of a sealed.
Lucky.
Yeah, that's not what some people thought, because some people didn't come because we changed it to a booster draft.
People are stupid.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
You can tell them I said it. I don't care.
Oh, they'll know. They'll right here on the show.
Dude, you're all dumb.
So, I think I opened the sweetest deck I could possibly get, and I managed to find a way to not win a single game. So starting with things on color, I have a foil Jaya Ballard.
Okay.
Right? Then I have a Burex Bladewing.
Mm-hmm.
Then I got a Juice Jess Lich Knight. I have no idea how you say that. But it's a 4/5 for 4 with Menace that has a kicker if you get it in the late game. Seems okay. I also have 2 of these 3/2 human wizards that do stuff. I have a 4/3 for 4. I have some Navigator's Compasses for fixing. I have a Jorah's Familiar to reduce the cost of my stuff. I got a Squee. This 5/5 Death Touch thing. And every other card in my deck was basically removal spells. With the exception of the following 3 cards that I decided was worth splashing for. And you tell me if I was wrong. Laura Dawnbringer, Sarah Angel, and an Adamant Will. By the way, that Laura Dawnbringer is a pre-release stamp foil.
You're good. You made the right call.
That's what I thought. However, I didn't win a single game.
Nice.
It was really disappointing. My cards always felt really strong, really powerful, and except at one time where I could only get 1 white source, I had no problems casting any of my spells. It just always felt like whatever they played matched up poorly to what was in my hand. With an exception of one terrible, terrible misplay that definitely lost me a game that I think I could have won had I not been completely retarded. And there's some hexproof knights, but they're like hexproof against a certain color. And this one was white. And it had protection from black. So all my removal spells at the time were black. Except for... Let me see if I can find the name of it here. Fight with Fire. So this card's got a lot of text on it, which is the first thing that says I shouldn't play this magic card.
Right.
So, if you've never... let's see if I can find it over here in the Domineer stuff real quick while I'm thinking about it. So, Fight with Fire basically says do 5 damage to 1 target unless you kicker it, in which case then you can do 10 damage to whatever you want. Whatever reason, I kept thinking it was 3 damage all day. I could not wrap my head around the fact that it's 5 damage. So, turn 2, my opponent plays this white creature, this white knight. Then turn 3, he turns around and equips it to make it a 4/4. And I have this card, Fight with Fire, sitting in my hand, thinking I have absolutely 0 way to do 4 damage to kill it. So this thing just hit me for 4 like a bunch of times until I finally realized that this thing, I reread the card and I realized that it did 5 damage. So this thing hit me for like 16 or 20 points of damage before I figured out that I could in fact kill it. It felt bad, man. So yeah. Oh no, it was not my weekend. That was my one and only pre-release that weekend, and I didn't win anything. 1-0. Travis, your troll card this week, other than disconnecting from calls, is a Champion of the Flame. I have it pulled up on the screen, but why is it special?
So, on Saturday, after the shield was over, we did a phantom draft with one of the people's boxes. And since it was a phantom draft, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna have some fun with it, see if I can get something, just get something excited going. And I ended up drafting this. My pack 1 pick 1 was Tiana, the sky ship something or another. The legendary that says, that's flying first strike when an aura or equipment is put to a graveyard. Return it to its owner's hand or something like that.
Okay.
You know what that one is, right?
Yeah.
Alright, so I got that, and I was like, pack 1 pick 1. I was like, yeah, alright, this rare's kind of the rare that I got is kind of garbage, so whatever, I'll just do this. And then I got past Champion of the Flame. I'm like, oh, alright. I'm going all in on this strategy. So, I built the deck to have, on Sarah's wings, short swords, couple of lances, and then, the, fire or something. I don't know. It was like it's the one where it's for 2 mana. You enchant a creature. It has +2/+1 and menace.
Okay.
So, basically, oh, and then I had the creature that said all of your creatures with first strike have double strike.
Right.
Yeah, so I had that, and I had like all of these just really tiny, incredibly volatile creatures. So I played Champion of the Fire or Champion of the Flame, and then like the next turn I would equip it with the thing or enchant it with the thing that gives it menace. So then it's a 1/1. It's +2/+1, and then +2/+2 for its own ability. So it was like a 5/4 with trample and menace. And then every time that I just started, it's like, okay, can you kill it? No? All right, well, now it's bigger. And now it's flying. And now it has lifelink and vigilance. It's just like, oh, so you still can't answer this. All right, cool. So you just want to go to the next game. And eventually, my opponents, they just started playing around it. So I'd force out, like, all these tiny things that are just, kind of insignificant. But I still have these swords. And I started, equipping all the swords to these little dudes. And they're just taking the beats and not killing them because they're all flying and everything. They're just waiting for me to play the Champion of Flame because it's a really busted card in Limited.
Yeah, I mean, you said you had how many swords? Like 3?
Yeah, I had like 2 short swords and the jousting lance, and then the black blade reforged.
So like short swords would be +3/+3 on this guy.
Yeah.
I don't know what the jousting lance is, but
the jousting lance gives an equipped creature +2/+0 and first strike.
Yeah, I mean that seems really strong. Like
yeah, so you equip it to him, and he's like now he's a 5. He's like a 5/3 with first strike and trample.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like my problem with equipment-based decks and aura-based decks are always the same. Like, it opens you up for 2-for-1s. But
Yeah,
I think that there's a really strong potential with Champion of the Flame right now in a red deck. Like...
I have a red-blue deck built for the next time we have a standard event.
Oh, man, yeah. Like, some red, too. Give it evasion and draw a card. Like, it seems real strong.
So, I mean, just real quickly, the equipments or the enchantments that I have in it, or the auras that I have in it, Cartouche of Zeal.
Right, the red one.
Gives it haste, something can't block. 2/1 with the winds to give it +2/+2 and flying.
Right.
Then it's a 5/5 flyer with trample.
Why not the +1/+1, but you also draw a card?
You mean this one?
Oh, they're next. Okay, carry on.
Yeah, the 4 Cartouche of Knowledge, +1/+1 flying, draw a card. 4 Arcane Flight, +1/+1 and flying. And then 3 Curious Obsessions. So it gets +1/+1, and then whenever it deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. That's all for the enchant or the auras. And the creature base is just play set of Beaumont Couriers, play set of Siren Storms to protect whatever's hitting them, play set of Champion of the Flame, and a single 2-headed giant.
A single 2-headed giant?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, it's something that I was kicking the can around a little bit mentally, thinking about, because I'm a big fan of that blue-white auras that I'm playing right now in Standard, but Champion of the Flame is just so good that it makes me wonder if there's not a way to make him, I don't think it takes the white out. I personally think that the blue might be the weaker of the 3 colors. in this situation. But I love the evasion so much. And the great thing about the blue-white deck is that so many of the things are draw a card attached to them, so you're refilling your hand constantly. So I really have to wait and see how the Champion of the Flame kind of balances out that way. But, whew. I have built some pretty crazy battleships with the blue-white deck, and none of them are as good as the Champion of the Flame.
Right. Well, see, and like at that point, couldn't you just splash red for the champion?
I could. That makes the mana really tough, I think. But it is possible
really.
that that's all you need.
Not really, because you have Sulfur Falls now,
That's true.
and also Inspiring Vantage,
Yeah, that's true too.
and then Aether Hubs still, so it doesn't really hurt it.
I might look at it because one of the things that I wanted to do was I wanted to add in the white or the red cartouche. Or is it right? That's what it's called?
Mm-hmm.
To give the haste and the make a creature not block. That's one of the things that I found that happened a lot was even though I make this huge battleship, they just eventually get to the point where they can make enough jumpers. I mean, sure, you're still gaining like 11 life a turn or whatever when you attack with your battleship, but it doesn't help if they can still eventually just kill you anyway.
Right.
So, I was thinking about trying to figure that out anyhow, and this might just be the way to go, is like a Champion of the Flame, because it tramples and also lets you splash the red cartouche, at least a couple of them. So I have to look and see. Man, all I know is with all these audio recording issues, I already feel like we're having a stressful show. Let's get to some of the exciting Brew stuff. There are 2 cards that I want to add into a Brawl, potentially just in a regular deck, but definitely in a Brawl.
So, before we start that,
Okay.
did you happen to see what happened at the first Brawl tournament?
No, was there a Brawl tournament?
Yes. Like, it was online.
Okay.
So, it was like strictly 1v1.
That seems like not how the format was designed at all.
Oh, it's not. Because, like, of the top 32 decks, 17 of them were Brawl.
Brawl's really strong.
Yeah. And, like, so the top three archetypes were Brawl, Nicobolus, and Scarab God.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, if that's the way it's gonna go, I really don't want to play it.
Well, again, it's... So the things that keeps those 3 commanders in check in particular is the group mechanic, right? The group format. Because you sit down with the blue-black control player with Scarab God, that's a huge target on your back. You know, it's just crazy. This weekend I played some brawls, and with a guy from out of town who really didn't play before. He was just borrowing one of my decks, and Good Hunter. And Good Hunter was playing his less good deck, his dinosaur deck, and and this guy was just like, nope, I hate dinosaurs more than anything. And I was just like, I was way ahead in the game, right? Like,
Yeah.
I was planning on killing everybody at the same time, and the guy was just like, no, I'm gonna do the things to screw over the brawl or the dinosaur player, because the dinosaur fear was real with this guy.
Clearly.
But that's what it kind of felt like, was this guy didn't care if he won or lost. He just wanted to kill the dinosaur player. And that's exactly what it's like in Brawl decks when you're playing the Scarab God. It's just like you have 3 other people sitting down at the table to beat you. So I don't think I'd ever play it in a heads-up 1v1 tournament. Like, that's exactly the opposite of what it is for me. If you want that kind of stuff, go play Commander.
Right.
Because Commander is able to better handle this 1 versus 1 stuff, I think, with the 1v1 list and blah, blah, blah. But I don't know. That is a little sick. And if it does turn into that, then I definitely won't play it competitively. Like, I just enjoy sitting down and playing like a 20-minute game between rounds of something. Where Commander can go like that, but that's not what it's meant to be. So I didn't play all the rounds of the pre-release, obviously. And some of the ones that I didn't play, I just, while waiting for people to report their rounds, I just sat there and played Brawl. And sometimes I got 3 or 4 matches in during that 50 minutes. Because they were just fun, light, nobody cared. It was good times. So yeah, I just... The idea of people playing it competitively 1v1 sounds gross to me. I could be wrong, but it's what it feels like.
It's not. It's just kind of like... It's just basically how Commander is. It's like, well, I have this competitive deck, and then everyone's like, why?
Right.
And then, like, every time someone's like, oh, I have this really competitive deck, and I'm just like, okay, let's play a competitive game. And then I bring out, Borgamos, and they're just like, well, I mean, not like that competitive. Well, then shut up.
Well, how much more, where's the middle ground of competitiveness then?
Yeah, if you're going to be a tryhard, go all out.
Right. If you're going to do it, do it. Yeah, I just don't understand. I realize this is a Magic player thing and a competitive person thing, but I have a really hard time being competitive in formats that are just meant to be fun.
Yeah.
I don't think of Frontier as an overly competitive format. I don't think of Pauper really as that competitive of a format, although it clearly is. I don't think of Commander that it's supposed to be that competitive of a format, but it clearly is. I mean, I guess any place where people play Magic and they want to win, it becomes competitive. But, again, I've explained this 1,000 times, but to me, you just take your leftover stuff that you're not playing because it's not good enough for what you want to do in Standard, and you play it. I finally built that blue-green deck around Nissa. You know what? It was a lot of fun. It was pretty good in Brawl. Like, there was a lot of situations where I could just turn 3 it, and they couldn't do anything about it, or turn 5 it, and they couldn't do anything about it, as I just plussed and flipped over a Merfolk and put it in play.
Right.
And, all of a sudden you're casting 2 or sometimes 3 creatures a turn, because all your stuff costs 3 mana or less, basically, in the whole deck. And people just couldn't deal with that. Even if there was 3 of them.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Like I said, being competitive, I think you need to keep in mind where you want to be competitive at. Speaking of competitive and Brawl, there is a Leviathan out of the new set. It's an uncommon. Slinen Vada, the Rising Deep. 8 mana, blue, and 6 for an 8/8 Leviathan. Looks like a crocodile. I think they misdid this artwork. Kicker, a blue, and 1. What answers the battlefield? If it was kick, return all creatures to their owner's hands, except for merfolks, krakens, leviathans, octopuses, and serpents. This thing is 100% going in the Saheeli deck. It bounces all of my stuff too, but one of the things
yeah.
that Saheeli deck cannot deal with is it doesn't have any wraths, really. Like, it does. It has the 5 damage to everything wrath. But that's it. So I need some way to buy a couple of turns. And everyone put all their stuff back in their hand is the best thing I can come up with. Yeah, it's going to cost me 10 mana to do it, but that's the deck that's going to have 10 mana.
Right. So
I picked up one of those. The other thing that I picked up that I think I might just build around completely, if there is I might have to play that 5 mana commander to play it. Prime Evil's Glorious Rebirth. So this is a legendary sorcery for 7 mana, a black, a white, and 5. And because it's a legendary sorcery, you have to already have a legendary creature or planeswalker in play. And it says return all legendary permanent cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. So I started looking, and you have like the legend that says kill 2 creatures, bring a creature back from your graveyard to play. You have all sorts of crazy, like great, just like really good legends all across the color spectrum to put in. Like this Lara Dawnbringer, for example, is great. You can always have, if you go 5 color, you can use a squee, but I don't know if I will. But like this thing just feels like I started laying it out with uncommons from Good Hunter's stuff, and it just looks really fun. You may have to use the Fist of the Sun commander guy to be able to make it work, but I'm not sure yet. So I'm going to continue to work on the robot-based deck from last week, but I definitely think I can figure out how to do this other deck based around the Primeval's Glorious Rebirth. Like for example, you have Raph Capins, the Ship Mage. Flying Flash can cast historic spells, although I had Flash. This Rona, Disciple of Gix, gives you all sorts of sweet stuff. Like, I feel like there's a deck here. So, I'm going to fiddle with it. As well as, of course, it's all legendary permanents, right? So you can also put all the planeswalkers in there if you want.
Mm-hmm.
So, there's nothing quite as sweet as, oh, you're going to kill all my stuff? Okay. Now I'm going to play this stupid little legendary guy, like a squee or something. And now I'm going to also bring back all of my stuff. So, I don't know. I'm going to look at it, see if it's a thing that I can make work. But, I feel like there's some real potential there. And that's it. That's all I got. That's the whole week. Like, I'm still trying to recover from this pre-release. It literally kicked my ass super hard.
Yeah, like, I'm kind of there with you because I haven't played that much Magic in a long time. And it's just like kind of draining.
Yeah, I mean, the draft right into the midnight pre-release. I got home, I think, at 5:30 from the midnight pre-release, and I was back before noon to start the next flight. And then of course I think I was able to take like an hour break to get something to eat between the first and second flight on Saturday.
Yeah.
So, and I was up until like 2 or 3 in the morning that night. And Sunday I was back again at noon. You know, and it was just like, it was almost too much Magic.
You're getting too old for that kind of stuff.
No, I'm not. It's
Yeah,
just,
you
it's
are.
really hard to go because it takes me a couple of days to get ready for those overnights like that. Like I normally stream until about 2 in the morning, and then I have about an hour of wind down time where I like catch up on my reading or podcasts or whatever. And then I get up and I stream again at 11. But that's still like a much bigger window than 5:30 to 11, you know? So yeah, I don't sleep that much anyway, but I would like to get at least 5 or 6 hours of sleep. And it's just not there. Travis is winking his forehead. The picture quality is a whole lot better too. Like I can actually see you. Maybe it's Google. Maybe Google's like, this is too close to live streaming. We're going to disconnect
It's
you.
like, no.
F you, Google. F you. Alright, well, let's do the show wrap up and then let's end with like some Avengers talk or something. How's that sound?
I won't be able to see it till Sunday.
I don't know when I'm going to be able to see it. But when I do see it, I'll tell you all about it at samusgarobo.com. Probably not at all. But that's where you could go see this podcast and other podcasts, hopefully. Knock on wood. You can send us an email, 2trollsbrew@gmail.com, which I did not check today. Sorry. You can check out this podcast currently at twitch.tv/samusgarobo. And, of course, you can check us out on Twitter. He's TurtlePower319, and of course I am twitter.com/SamusGarobo. So we have 2 things, right? We have 2 good movies this weekend.
Do we?
No. I kept thinking Deadpool's this weekend too. No, Deadpool's next month. So we have Avengers this weekend. We have Deadpool next month. We got the trailer for Venom.
Oh, I'm so excited for that.
Yeah, I think we need to be careful to keep our expectations low.
Oh, I am. It's Sony.
Right. It's just one of those deals like, I'm not the world's biggest Eddie Brock Venom character, like, fan. But I do really like Flash Thompson Venom. And Agents of Venom, government agent or secret agent or whatever it is. I really like that run. And I also really like Venom Space Knight. Like, those are both good runs to me. But I'm a huge Carnage fan. So, I have the feeling we're going to see a bad Carnage in this movie.
Like, badly designed, or...
I think the whole thing about it's going to be bad.
Okay.
So, I watched the trailer that came out this week. And it looks like what they're doing is they're injecting people with the symbiote and then taking it back out to see what changes are made to the person.
Yep.
So I have and there's at least 2 symbiotes that they show in the trailer. So I think what's going to happen is one is Venom, and somehow Eddie Brock gets away with it. And then I think that the other one is going to be Carnage, and they'll inject him into Cassidy or whatever, but then they can't get it out.
Right. Well, and
it's just going to be bad.
Well, and then even the trailer is kind of hinting at it because, Tom Hardy is talking to Venom.
Which I think is great. I think that part's really good.
Yeah, so he's like, no, we have to be the good guy. We can only hurt bad people or something like that. And then even like parts of the trailer, it says anti-hero on it. I'm like, no.
Well, that's always that is Venom. Venom is always the anti-hero. Like, he's just always been the guy who eats the bad guys.
Right. I'm gonna kill you, but also I'm gonna destroy everything.
Right. But that's the definition of an anti-hero. That's like Punisher. That's like... Man, I just can't... I can only think of other Venom, really, that's like that anti-hero like that.
Well, it's like the Hulk.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever put Hulk in the anti-hero category, though.
Oh, I have, because, if he just goes off and starts, he's not aimed at anything, he just destroys stuff until he's not mad anymore.
Yeah, but for example, there was a really good Hulk comic where people always were going on about how he's afraid, and there was one of the super genius boys. I can't think of his name, but he's like on Team Hulk, like he's a fan of the Hulk, and he started going over like, who has the Hulk ever killed? Like, yeah, granted, he's broken a lot of stuff, but even in all of that destruction, he's never hurt anybody.
Right.
Where Venom, on the other hand, eat your baby.
Yeah.
Okay, that's more of a Carnage thing. But, like, Venom's not afraid to throw you in front of a train.
Right.
He's not afraid of biting your face off. I remember one of the early Venom comics. Well, it wasn't a Venom comic. It was an early Iron Man comic. But around 305 or 10 or something, Tony Stark had just come back to life on one of his come back to life things.
Right.
And he had consumed some businesses, I think, from Justin Hammer maybe, or something. And all of these businesses had all these shady stuff come out about them. So he had all these different heroes coming in, tearing his stuff up. Like, he fought the Hulk, he fought Deathlock, he fought a bunch of guys. But the one who actually did the most was Venom. Venom actually bit Tony Stark's head off. Luckily for Tony, it was a LMD that he was remote piloting.
Right, of course.
Because he was in a wheelchair at the time and he had to give a press conference. But he got through everything. Right? Like, he did it all. And it was Venom is just one of those guys who gets there. Gets the job done. And is not afraid to pull any punches. So I'm hoping that it's going to be really good. My concern is that Tom Hardy will never not just be Bane. And I did not care for his Bane.
No, like, his Bane was bad, but like, he's a good actor.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think like other things that I could put him in that category too, but it just, I don't know. Like, the special effects look okay, and I'm hoping that when I'm sitting there in the movie theater, I'm gonna really like it, but I don't know. Avengers stuff though, I'm ready for Thanos to come kill everybody.
Right. So speaking of that, I saw this funny tweet today. Prince William?
Yeah.
Or Prince, whatever, the one that just had another kid.
Yep, that's William.
Yeah, he was all like, he made a tweet, it's like, oh, the planet's overpopulated, and then like one of the top responses on there was, isn't that basically the plot to Infinity War?
Not the planet's overpopulated?
We're overpopulated. Isn't that basically the plot to Infinity War?
Maybe. I don't know. You know what you never see in a Marvel comic book?
Huh.
People having problems getting jobs. You know why?
Okay.
There's two reasons why. One, people are constantly being cold. And two, they always need construction labor to rebuild these cities.
True.
Right? Like, there's always work to do. So, and there's always a demand for more labor. Like, you don't see them out there marching for 15. Because they're like, shit, there's so much need for good construction labor, we'll just making that anyway. We're making $23 an hour building sky rises.
So what you're saying is someone should just go blow up a bunch of buildings.
I mean, not necessarily blow up, but tear down. Like, the economy really seems to boon right after a supervillain attack. Like, think about Man of Steel, right? No, Superman. What was the new bad Superman? Destroyer of cities.
It was Man of Steel.
Man of Steel. Like, you know Bruce Wayne made like $500 billion rebuilding that city.
Oh, yeah.
Like hundreds of billions of dollars rebuilt. Like, Metropolis was leveled. Tons of people had to be hurt, if not killed, by that attack. He was laser beaming buildings down. Him and Zod. Like, you know what you didn't see any of in Batman v Superman? People out there protesting they didn't have any jobs. I'm just saying, that superheroes, but they're not ever population low. Right? So people are banging and people are building.
Well, I don't think that our population will ever get low unless we have another plague.
I don't know, man. So I was reading a paper. Genghis Khan apparently killed enough people that it re-rolled back that ice age that we were rolling out of at the time. Because he was able to kill enough people to basically have the farms take back over, or the farms get taken back over by wildlands, and it basically restarted the ice age that was coming out of there. What are you sharing on my thing?
So, essentially, we should all be thanking Genghis Khan like I always do anyways.
I mean, he is probably your uncle.
It's possible, like...
1 out of 4, right? It's like herpes. 1 out of 4 people are related to Genghis Khan.
I think it's down to like 15%.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because, you know, there's still a lot of people now.
I don't know.
There's enough of Genghis's non-descendants to overpower his actual descendants.
I don't know if that's true. I feel like I have to Google this now.
Right now.
I don't know. Genghis Khan pop? Not even close. Alright, well, screw me and my inability to spell. On with that.
How bad was it?
Huh?
How bad was it?
It was bad. Like, on a scale of 1 to 10, it was Eddie Brock bad. Like, we left Uncle Ben on the sidewalk. It was so bad.
Didn't even try and save him. Just walked by. Oh, there he
goes. Uncle Ben's like laying there. I'm fine. It's just a flesh wound, because he was in Nam. Just a flesh wound. Give me some dental floss. I'll sew it up myself and walk home. Like, it's too late, Uncle Ben. You're gonna bleed to death. He's like, no, I can just put pressure on it myself. It's fine. I can walk home. Oh, he's gonna bleed out. Uncle Ben just like found a new family because Peter's like, Uncle Ben died in a car. He got shot and he died. Uncle Ben's like 2 houses down with his new family.
No, I didn't.
Oh, man. Have a week, everybody.
Yeah, everybody, have a week.
Well, that's not our sign-off, though. That's Kevin Smith's sign-off.
Have a week?
Yeah, that's his sign-off.
Really?
Yeah.
That's almost the same as, like, when I tell someone at work, I'm like, hey, you're doing a job. And then I just walk away. So it's like, okay, but am I doing a good job or a bad job?
You're doing it, though.
You're doing a job. Troll on, everybody.
Keep doing it. Troll on. Toodles.